momentarily, but Representative Merrill, I would like to begin with you. Why is this good for Alabama?
Brooke, this is good for Alabama because it will reduce illegal immigration in our state, and that's the purpose of the legislation.
I know both chambers in Alabama are both Republican majority, passed this thing, and then, of course, Governor Bentley signed it. Did you at all have any hesitation in this?
Well, Governor Bentley signed that legislation today because it is good legislation. It's good legislation for Alabama. It's good legislation for the people of Alabama. And ultimately, it'll be good legislation for other southern states as well. I didn't have any hesitation about the support of this legislation because what it does is it actually just encourages everybody to have to follow the same path to fulfill whatever commitment or opportunity for growth and personal development that they would like to experience.
Representative Merrill, I do want to point out one unique piece of this law that involves children. So we know that parents of foreign-born public school kids will be required to report their immigration status to Huntsville officials. And I picked up the Huntsville Times. This is from earlier in the week, but I just want to read this line for you. Quote, under this bill, we are going, this is an editorial, under this bill, we are going to keep illegal immigrant students out of all public colleges so none of them, regardless of how smart or how hard they work, will be able to get the education they would need to become teachers, engineers, doctors, nurses, and entrepreneurs. How do you respond to that?
Well, Brooke, obviously anyone that enrolls in public schools in the state of Alabama or public institutions of higher learning are required to provide certain documentation in order to gain access. And that's not asking illegals to do anything other than what our citizens are already required to do. We don't want to try to make any special accommodation for any kind of interest group, any kind of special interest group, any kind of individual that is trying to take advantage of opportunities that are not available for the citizens of the state of Alabama.
Even if some of these kids,
that would be an error. And what this does,
even if some of these kids, as some would argue,
Brooke, is that what this requires everybody to be treated the same way.
Even if some of these kids, as some I know have already argued, some of these kids, you know, came into this country, didn't have a choice. To you, doesn't matter.
Well, when you say they didn't have a choice, are you saying that they came here as babies or small children and they came with their parents?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that what you're saying, actually?
Yes.
Well, obviously, if somebody had to have transportation provided, they wouldn't be coming on their own volition. But what we're talking about, as you identified for me, young people that are going to institutions of higher learning, they do have a choice. And all that we're wanting to do is to make sure that each and every one is treated the same way. We don't want to provide any special accommodation for people that are not due special accommodation. We're not talking about citizens that have handicaps or other special needs that need to be met. We're talking about a special residency requirement, which we don't feel that we need to offer if we don't offer it to the people that are already residents and tax-paying citizens of the state of Alabama.
We also read that the ACLU today coming out pretty strongly against this law, saying, quote, the bill invites discrimination into every aspect of the lives of people in Alabama. They plan to challenge it. How confident are you that this law will remain upheld?
Well, Mickey Hammond, who's a majority leader in the House of Representatives, and Senator Scott Beeson, who is chairman of the Rules Committee, have worked very tirelessly and diligently on this legislation to make sure that it was prepared in such a way that it would accommodate all the needs of all the people that we're trying to reach, not in a discriminatory fashion. That is not the intent of the legislation. The intent of the legislation is to provide equal opportunity for all people who want to come to Alabama legally and to meet the needs that each and every one of those individuals have. And that's not asking too much.